Hey, how's it going? So let's talk about drum college, what it's like to go to drum college. Is it worth it? And is it for you? So it was in 2009 I went to drum college, went over to London, and I studied a higher diploma in drumming, and it was through Thames Valley University, but the drum college was Drum Tech in London. And at that time, it was one of the best colleges you could go to in Europe, drum-wise. It was one of the more expensive ones, and that's one of the things I just want to say right now is try and get them the best one that you can afford. I know that's kind of an obvious thing, but if it's a difference between a couple of thousand, maybe go for the more expensive college, just simply because the more expensive college attract better teachers, and that's where everything lies. Also, the facilities are going to be better. Make sure you check them out, of course, but they should be better because you're spending more money. Also, make sure that there's practice rooms. It's one of the things that a lot of people don't think of. Practice rooms are vital, and they should have a lot of practice rooms, because if there's a lot of people in the college, they're all going to want a practice room. Most of the learning that you do is in the classroom, but how you improve and get better is through practicing. And if you're living in a big city, which most of these colleges are, some of them in London, in Paris, in Dublin, in New York, in LA, they're very expensive cities. So on top of the college fees and your accommodation fees, paying for a practice room can end up being very expensive. So make sure that the college has that and factor that into how you're, when you're thinking about the price of the college, maybe it's a better deal to spend a little bit more because of the facilities. Also, keep a good open mind when you go in there. You're going to go in thinking that you're a really, really good drummer, and then all of a sudden the standard just it goes up hugely. You're going to be in a place with very gifted people that are the exact same goals as you. They want to pursue a career in music, and it's competitive. But you're going to be in there with really good teachers that are fantastic players. You're going to be in there with older people. You're going to be in the same area of with people that are doing degrees, that are finishing up degrees, that have been spent the last 6, 7, 8 years solely focused 100% on drums. And they're unbelievably good players, but it should be a good thing. You should thrive in that kind of environment, and don't let it intimidate you. Let it inspire you, because some of the things that you think are very important when you go in, turns out that they're not that important at all. And the teachers will show you all that. Teachers will be a little bit intimidating. They will cut you down, but only to build you back up. They'll expose all your weaknesses, and they'll do it in front of the whole class. But it's a good thing, because by you focusing on all the stuff that you're good at, you're not going to get any better. So by exposing all those weaknesses and putting them straight in your face, it's a blow to the ego, but it's the only way you're going to get better. It's like when you go into the practice room, if you sound really good, you're obviously not practicing the right stuff. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you don't get intimidated, and just be ready for it, because it's a strange environment. It's not for somebody who's sensitive. Now, when you're talking about the stuff that you study, most of the contemporary schools will study the same stuff. So you'll do technique. We did 2.5-hour classes twice a week on technique, how to hold the drumsticks, the correct pedal technique, ergonomics, that approach to the drum set, the exercises that you would play when everything comes together through hands and feet, how that all works together in technique, and eventually that will overspill into your playing. Basically, playing drums very effortlessly and efficiently. You'll learn all that. It can be quite a hard class, but it's really, really beneficial. Next one we did was concepts, which is like styles. So you'd have blues, pop, metal, rock, all these different styles, funk, fusion, and you would spend months at a time just on one. You'd learn about the history of it, where it came from, and you'd learn the different characteristics of maybe the fills that you would play inside each genre. And you would then kind of, through learning the history and that kind of stuff, you learn the feel and why it sounds the way it does, why it has that particular feel. Very beneficial class, and it was one of my favorites. Very, very cool class. So sight reading, you do a lot of that. Maybe do two two-hour classes of that. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. You do theory. same stuff that you would do if you were playing guitar or playing piano. You learn about the notes, the chord progressions. You would learn ear training, and of course you do composing in that. So very important in terms of when you go out to the real world. You're going to be obviously with guitarists, you're going to be with bass players, vocals, and they're going to talk chord progressions and that kind of stuff. Good to put your 2 cents in. Live performance workshop, this is going to depend on the college that you're in. So live performance workshop is in the college that I was in, there was offshoots for vocal tech, bass tech, guitar tech, and keyboard tech. And on a Wednesday, I think it was, we'd all come together in the live room, the same intake. So the people doing the higher diplomas in those other departments would all come together, and you would be told a week before a song, and you would have to then go up on stage and play that song. The catch was you wouldn't be told who you'd be with. So it would be literally one person from the vocals, one person from the bass, guitar, etc. And you would just be thrown up on the stage, never meeting the people before, not knowing which way they played, and you'd have to nail the song, and you'd get critiqued on that after the song, and you would get the feedback. Very beneficial. One of the best ones that were in the course. Again, that's in terms of practicality. Nowadays, you do need to get up on a stage and play with people you don't know. That's just how it is. So it's one of the best ones, one of the best classes that they had. Another one we did was rhythm section skills, where we did it, I think it was once a week. They would hire a professional bass player. He would come in, and you would go up and you would spend time playing a certain song with a bass player. The idea is that you learn how to lock in with a bass player. It's something that when you write, you can't write a book on it, you know, how to lock in with a bass player or a guitarist. The only way of doing that is by playing. And so you had the benefit of a professional bass player, which every one of them were unreal that we played with. And this would be once a week. You'd get this. It's so beneficial, and you'd learn how to lock in. And it's just a little, like now they would say, you know, baby, pull it back and, you know, push a bit forward or whatever it was. And just over time, you would kind of learn what locking in was. So again, another really good class. We did Latin percussion. That's where we learned all of the world music. So everything from Cuba, Brazil, Africa, etc. We learned all the instruments from congas to bongos to shakureas, shakers, guiros, all that stuff. Very beneficial. I really enjoyed it. And it's important to know all that kind of stuff. Very handy in the studio if there's congas lying around and you're able to play them. Could be something that somebody wants. Of course, then there was the tech side of it. So you learn computers, logic, how to record drums, how to make your own beats through all the technology, and that was really good. We also composed. So when you would compose something on Logic, through your own beats and through loops and things like that. Very, very cool. So when you're in the class, it can be quite intimidating. I was in a class of 15 drummers, and you would be asked to come up and play various exercises that we would have to have learned. And it's one thing being in a room full of people playing, that can be quite intimidating. The second one is being in a room full of musicians. That's very intimidating. But imagine being in a room full of drummers that are just staring at you, watching every little bit movement that you're making, and you know, they're all judging. So it's very intimidating. What the teacher would do as well is pick out those weaknesses that you have. So you would be asked to come up and perform those weaknesses, knowing that you were not going to do a good job. And but again, it made you grow. So you'd go up there and you'd play the exercise, make a not a very good job of it, and they'd keep you up there until you nearly got it. And sometimes you didn't get it, and then you'd walk down. Of course, you'd always get a round of applause, but it was literally like the walk of shame. But again, it made you better because you would know you were really bad at that, and so you worked on it. You know, for the first 5 months, 6 months, for me, I felt like the worst drummer in the world. And then it was somewhere in the 6th month or something, I was like, oh, I've gotten a slight bit better. Of course, the teachers can see the improvement the whole time. Your peers can see the improvement the whole time. It's just you can't see it because you're witnessing it every day. You know, the progression is very slow, but you will feel like the worst drummer in the world. But for the first couple of months, but you will eventually get better, or you will eventually see the results. One of the best things that they had as well was master classes. So you would have famous drummers that would come and do a 2 or 3 hour show in the evening times once a month. So we had Mark Schulman, Bill Bruford, Phil Matriano, and a rake of other guys. Some people that you wouldn't know, but they're just unbelievably good drummers. Excellent thing for your inspiration. For me, it was really good. Other people didn't like it because they found it quite intimidating, seeing these unbelievably good drummers, but I loved it. Again, you should go in there with the attitude of looking at these guys and going, oh my good God, look at this. It should inspire you. You can learn a lot of stuff from seeing the pros, especially some of them that are famous. Like Mark Schulman was just unbelievable. Such a force behind the drum kit. But one of the things, don't go to the college if you think if you want to be, or you think it's going to make you famous. That was some of the trap that a few of the guys and girls fell into. There's a better way of doing that. You should join a band, practice really hard, write some really good songs, get in a van and tour with that band. That's kind of the faster way of becoming famous. These kind of courses is for improving your drumming. These are for people that want a career in drumming. So they want to develop, they want to have a palette of skills that's going to help them for a long career. That's what it's mainly for. One other thing I will say as well is, don't go there if you think you're going to be creating music in terms of in college time. That doesn't happen at all. You can do obviously that in your own time after college hours, but in there you're not creating music with people. And the people that didn't do very well in the course, I think they were solely focused on that. That's how they thought the college was going to go down. They thought that it was going to be, hey, you go into this room, create some music, come back out, and we'll judge it and we'll tell you whether it's any good or not. It's not like that at all. It's not that kind of that hippy dippy away with the fairies kind of stuff. It's very hard. It's very detailed. It can be quite intense, and it's very technical. So just remember that, and rightly so. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a college. It's a proper program. You're getting a degree, you're getting a higher diploma, you're getting a diploma, and it's it's a standard. It has to have a standard, and the standard is quite high because there's a lot of really great drummers out there. But anyway, that was my experience in college. That's what I think is some of the takeaways that I got from it. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. And it helped me become a way better drummer, to focus on the things that really mattered in drumming, and really paved the way for me to make a career out of it. That's what I do full time now for a living. May not be 100% glamorous all the time, but you make a living at something that you love, and that's what I want at this moment in time anyway. But if you guys are thinking of going to drum college or anything, let me know down in the comment section. If you have any questions as well, let me know. You can get in contact me, the email or down in the comment section, and I'll shed some light or give you a hand. Or if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Anyway, guys, that's that. I hope it helped out. If it did, let me know. Give me one of these and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Bye bye. Guys, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you like what you've seen here today, you can see a lot more videos. Just click on any of them here on the screen.